Children, welcome to the online classes. My first lecture on the poem 4, The Lake Isle of Innisfree, written by the great poet William Butler Yeats. W.B. Yeats was an Irish poet and one of the foremost figures of 20th century literature. He founded the Abbey Theatre and also served as a senator for 2 terms of the Irish Free State. The Irish Free State is today known as Ireland, and Dublin is the capital of the state. The official languages of Ireland are English and Irish. The national language is Irish. W.B. Yeats was born in Sandymount, Ireland, and educated there in London. He spent his childhood holidays in County Sligo and studied poetry from an early age. His poems are The Second Coming, Easter, 1916, Sailing to Byzantium, Lake Isle of Innisfree. W.B. Yeats was the greatest poet of 20th century, and so in 1923 he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, students, I will give you a brief summary of this poem. The poet dreams of escaping the busy streets of London. He remembers Innisfree as a perfect little island that would supply all his needs. This poem explores his longing for the peace and tranquility of Innisfree, where he spent a lot of time as a boy. The poet describes Innisfree as a simple, natural environment where he will build a cabin and live alone. A cabin means a small hut, a small cottage. He dreams of living on beans and honey, which he will cultivate himself. The poet is going to grow beans in the farm. He is going to cultivate beehives for extracting honey from these. He imagines finding harmony on the island. He dreams of living in a delightful climate there and listening to the songbirds at dusk. He decides to leave the busy streets of London and settle in Innisfree. That is, the poet doesn't want a life of hustle and bustle. He wants to live a very peaceful life, and that life he gets in Innisfree. He is obsessed with the sound of lake water. He wishes to escape to a beautiful place with wonderful light and color. This is a short summary of the poem. Now, children, thinking about the poem, some questions. What are the 3 things the poet wants to do when he goes back there? Goes back there means Innisfree. If he has to go back to Innisfree, what is he going to do there? The poet, first of all, he will build a small cabin of clay and wattles. The second thing he would do, he would plant 9 rows of beans. And the third thing, he wants to keep honey beehive from which he could extract honey. What does he hear and what does he see? What is its effect on him? He hears the cricket song. He holds the linnets flying in the sky. Linnet is a name of a bird. He sees glimmering midnight and glowing rooms. What he hears in his heart's core, even when he is far away from Innisfree, when the poet is far away from Innisfree, he hears the sound of the lake water washing the shore in his heart's core. Now, what we can conclude, how is Innisfree? Innisfree is simple, a natural place full of beauty and peace. How does the poet contrast it where he now stands? How does he contrast? The poet contrasts the clay and wattle-made cabin, bee loud glade, morning with dews and cricket songs, midnight with glimmer, noon with purple glow, evenings with linnet's wings, lake water lapping, and low sounds by the shore. The next question: do you think Innisfree is only a place or a state of mind? Does the poet actually miss the place of his boyhood days? Boyhood days means when he was as a child, we can also say as the childhood days. Innisfree represents poet's state of mind. The poet wishes to escape to Innisfree as it is more peaceful than where he is now, that is the city. The city. Innisfree is representative of what the poet considers an ideal place to live, which is devoid of restless humdrum of his life. Humdrum means I say the hustle and bustle of his life. The poet actually misses the place of his boyhood days, positively misses. Even when he is away from Innisfree, he recalls the sound of the lake water washing the shore. That is this hardcore. The lake water which is splashing and coming at the banks that he has kept in his heart. Look at the words the poet uses to describe what he sees and hears at Innisfree. There are three things: bee loud glade, evenings full of the linnet's wings, and lake water lapping with low sounds. The three sounds, what he sees and he hears at Innisfree. And what picture do they create in your mind? The words bring to the mind the image of the buzzing bees, the bees which are collecting honey from the flowers. The words bring up the image of the linnets flying across an evening sky. Just when evening at the day is about to complete and the night is to approach, that is called the dusk. It is called the dusk time. So what do we find? We find animals returning to their houses, birds returning to their houses, people returning to their houses after their work. That is evening dusk. The words evoke not only the image but also the soft sound of lake's water washing the shore. That's it, children. Thank you.